Here's a question for you. How do you cry on cue? I get asked that all the time. How do you cry on cue? Craft. Putting no pressure on yourself to cry. And having an open heart, sensitivity. Okay, so all those can be advanced. So first of all, let's just talk about craft. The Meisner Technique is all about what? It's expanding our imaginations, our concentration. The more that we expand, the more that we can concentrate and stay focused and present on whatever it is we're imagining, the more we'll continue to hang out in this imaginary world. And then the third tenet Sanford Meisner said about talent for an actor: childlike imagination, freakish concentration, and highly sensitive. Highly sensitive to your imagination, to what's happening, to what was just said to you, so that there's a reaction, so there's a full reaction, not acting, just something that's interesting to watch. Because as Sandy once said, if you were like, to be or not to be, it's like, you don't give a shit whether you kill yourself. I don't care either. As actors, we've got to care. You've got to feel. And so the more you can feel, well, craft itself, the technique itself, is designed to expand your sensitivity, your imagination, your concentration. So that alone will help in your ability to prepare on something, craft again, at the start of a scene that makes you emotional. But this is an important one. So how do you cry on cue? Well, sometimes based on the literal circumstance. Let's say you're doing a movie and now it's the scene where, you're breaking up, and it's the close-up, and you're supposed to be very emotional because you don't want the breakup to happen. Let's say your co-star you can't stand. It's been a horrible shoot. They're unprofessional. You have no respect. Well, good luck preparing on the literal circumstances, right? Excuse me. You can't even stand this person. Well, then you're going to have to go to somewhere else. You're going to prepare on anything. The audience will never know. The editor will never know. No one will ever know. It's none of their business. You just take a moment to lock and load and prepare on something that is heartbreaking to you. Something to you. You need craft to be able to lock and load and be able to concentrate and be open to that. But then again, there it is. To be able to prepare on anything, your dog, your cat, something that literally has happened that still hurts your heart. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, emotional memory, whatever works, Sandy said. But you're going to have to go somewhere else, is my point. And by the way, it's not enough just to get sad. And by the way, here, sorry, got all kinds of ideas going quick. If you prepare on your cat and all of a sudden now you're just bawling and they go action, and you're supposed to be, it's about you and this person, but you've been hanging out for the last 3 minutes about your cat. You've got a lot of emotion, but you're not grounded in truth. So once you get the emotion, that inner life going, and you're not chasing the emotion, you're not trying to cry, you're just falling into your world, into your deliberate daydream, your preparation. And in so doing, there it is. There it is. So you're able to have something going on. But my point is, as soon as you get the river going, forget the cat, and now you have to fall into this literal circumstance about this person. And even if you can't stand this person, find one thing about him that you can like. And even if that's a struggle, then you know what you do? Here's a trick. Here's a little wonderful tip. You just make up something. Your imagination will go to work for you. It's all make-believe anyway, which is, let's say this person, even though he doesn't know it, you know for a fact that he's got cancer or that his wife's left him, and everyone knows on the set except him. And you can even incorporate that to have some empathy and compassion for this person that you honestly can't stand. I don't want to get into the weeds, but that's just another way of solving that, okay? So that's preparing at the start of a take, okay? How do you cry on cue in the middle of a scene? There you go. Now that's a whole other level of craft and emotional range. First of all, let's just be right up front. Actors are just obsessed with crying, whether it's before the start of a scene or in the middle of a scene, having that tear fall. Don't be that way. The worst thing you can do is chase the emotion. The worst thing you can do, Sandy said, is watch the emotion, chase the emotion. So screw the emotion. Yeah, but how do I prepare in the middle of the scene? when I can't prepare, right? You can't. No, you can't. In other words, if they're not breaking it up for coverage, or it's a play and you've walked on stage and it's hi, how are you? It starts really nice and happy, and all of a sudden she goes, hey, sit down, I need to talk to you, yeah? And I'm leaving you. What do you mean you're leaving me? I'm not happy. I haven't been happy for years. That can't be a surprise. It is a surprise. Well, I'm leaving you. Oh. And now, and over the next 30, 40 seconds, and the writer's written, she bursts into tears. And of course, the poorly trained actor, the neurotic actor, the unhealthy actor is going to put such pressure on themselves to start crying in that moment. Yeah, but the writer wrote it. I understand the writer wrote it. And you do 5, 6 takes in a film, you might cry on one and not on the other. So one night you're crying, one night you're not. What do you do about that? Again, I have more to say about this, but I just want to, the worst thing you do is put pressure on yourself to cry. It's 20 lines earlier and you're going, oh shit, I don't have anything going on. Oh God, please, cry like last night, please. And you start you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. On top of that, you're giving all these moments away because you're in your head, you're trying to be good, you're playing director, critic all at the same time. You are screwed. Okay? So here's a note for all of you directors. You know, what I would do to say to my actors is, yeah, it says he bursts into tears. Screw that. You know, we'll teach you, I'll help you earn that moment. I'll help you earn that love so that maybe something emotionally truthful happens. That again goes back to craft, guys. You know, unless you're just one of these people that can just truly just cry just because they just can't. We all know somebody like that where they can just literally start crying. They're just so sensitive. It's like bubbling constantly and they can cry. Okay, but the other 99.99% of actors, that's not the case. And then there's just a matter of how much sensitivity do they have? Or is your heart completely closed? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Where is it in that spectrum? Our job as actors is to always continually to open our hearts, to deal with our stuff that's got us closed off, insensitive, cold-hearted. That's your job. That's more therapy and everything else you can do. Excuse me. So the more, as Sandy said, to be a world-class actor, you have to have a world-class instrument to play, and you are that instrument. There it is. The more open-hearted you are, the more emotional range you'll have. So that's part of the journey and the process, too, of having a healthy, tuned instrument. Okay. Excuse me. But now, again, back to it. Let's use theater. It's because film's so broken up. And I would say to my actors, both of them, the couple in the scene, let's say it's a man-woman scene, and the woman's supposed to cry because she's devastated. He even says, it's written, please don't cry. Please, come on, stop crying, over and over, right? Well, it's either going to lead pressure to cry or acting crying, fake crying, or real. Now, the only way real is going to happen is by not putting any pressure on to cry and craft, and again, I'll get to that. If they're not crying, I would tell my actors, look, just adjust the line. Adjust the line. I don't want you to feel any pressure to cry. Zero. And if she's not crying, you can't say the line. Just like if this person's seated, you can't say sit down. And if they're not crying, you can't say stop crying. So you adjust the line. Just say, please don't, I know you're upset. I know this is upsetting to you. You just adjust the line. And if the next night they happen to be crying, you adjust the line there too. Welcome to being in the moment and having to deal with the truth of what's happening. Otherwise, there's your next option, fake crying. Now, people are really good at fake crying. There's people that are really good at it. Hell, they're really good at it. In life, they utilize that little trick. Here's the deal. You can't fake real. You can do a pretty good job of it. You know, it's like almost like an impediment. If you have to fake, like you hurt your hand. Let's say I hit my hand in a door and I have to scream at bloody murder. I didn't hit my hand. You know, it's not really painful, but I'm yelling and screaming and I get shot. I'm not really shot. So these impediments, these physical things that are supposed to be happening that aren't happening, including, although it's more emotional, but it's the tears coming out. What do? Fake cry? It's an option. Here's the truth. Most people do. They'll bury their head. But there it is. And this is an important part. I've never once been moved by fake crying, whether on stage, on camera, or in life. Ever. But, You know, some directors are going to want you to do it because it says the line and they're not willing or skilled or take your pick, open to changing the line and taking the pressure off the actor. I would always take the pressure off that actor. So fake crying. Now, the final element is, how do you cry on cue? Craft. I get asked that all the time. How do you cry on cue? How do you cry in the middle of a scene? You earn it. You earn it. Now, this goes deep now into the technique. This also, I just heard Sandy talking, it infuriated Sanford Meisner that people thought the Meisner technique was the repetition exercise. It's the beginning. It's the foundation. Hell, the whole thing does rest on it, but my God, by second year and character work and impediments and script analysis and earning characters, not playing them, and all that goes in truly to the Meisner technique. So how do you cry in the middle of a scene? You earn it. You earn the right to speak those words. How do you have any truthful reaction in the middle of a scene? Anger, rage, burst out laughing, heartbroken. How do you do that? You'd have to know what you're saying means to you. You'd have to know what is being said to you means to you. You then would have to actually earn it. And how you go about earning it, well, God, I mean, we don't have time for all that. But I'll tell you this, you've got to know what you're saying means to you and what is being said. And if you do and have earned the relationship, one of the most important elements to ever crying in the middle of a scene is earning the relationship, the person you're playing opposite. I don't mean falling in love with them, excuse me, but there's acting love, there's acting emotions you better be able to advance and grow into. And that all goes truly into second year work. And what is people, I've yet to see it out on the internet, but I'm blessed to have been with Sandy near the end of his life. He was evolving and growing the technique. And one of the things he evolved and grew near the tail end of his teaching career was the importance of really earning the words by living out the life before the words, call them histories. So, if I'm in a scene with you and you're my, again, let's stay with the same theme, my lover, and we're splitting up. We would have done a lot of work prior to the scene of really living out the life before the scene. This isn't method acting. This is what Sandy created to earn the right to speak these words. So yeah, you have a first date. You can either do it in your imagination, because in the real world, and you're not going to get together with people and be able to spend weeks really building up a relationship. So you got to do it through your imagination. You must. It's earning your autobiography. It's earning all the life before that. This moment in time, you have to earn this, and the more you earn this, the more it's going to live in you. Excuse me. But when you can live it out too when you have enough time, or an actor that is either Meisner trained properly or is just open and well trained in their own right to be able to play and earn the life before this moment in time. So yeah, going on a date and getting married, and I'm not talking, again, an excuse to hook up and be, those people. But wherever your line in the sand is in terms of being comfortable with some type of intimacy with somebody you're working with, you might say, my line's right here. I have no problem hugging and kissing. French kissing, I'm absolutely fine with. But after that, that's it. Just everything else, there's my line. Okay, well then there's the line. And other people are more open to a bit more, wherever that is. And that absolutely is building up feelings and attractions. And you got to be healthy about that stuff. Oh my God, is that another video? So that when she says, or he says, I'm leaving you, that maybe that has a reaction. Maybe that hurts. Maybe that, because of you earning who that person is to you, who you are to them, being so incredibly present, you're not in your head judging, putting pressure to cry, being healthy. You have the craft to earn the right to earn all this relationship, and you continually do the work to expand your emotional range and your sensitivity, then maybe you will cry. Maybe you will cry on cue in the middle of a scene where the writer has written, she begins to cry. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to tell you, there's a hell of a lot more. I could teach for hours on this topic. So maybe we'll have a part 2, or if you have questions, roll in. We'll continue on, okay? And if not, other topics, keep sending them. I'm happy to answer them. Have a wonderful day. See you soon.